Bledsoe was arrested.
Patrick Montgomery was in court.
Jonathan Manapa will stay in federal custody.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
Everyone, welcome to the show. So 33-year-old Texas resident Jonathan Owen Shroyer, he goes by the name of Owen, his middle name. He is the host of one of Alex Jones' InfoWars shows, and he helped to spread election fraud lies to the show's very large audience in advance of January 6th. He also warned in November of 2022 in a broadcast, quote, "If you steal this election from us and you put in a UN communist, corrupt criminal Joe Biden in the White House, it's not going to be a million peaceful marchers in DC. No, no, no. No, it's not. No, it's not." So Shroyer was in DC by January 5th, and he was broadcasting the show from Freedom Plaza when he said, among other things, quote, "Americans are ready to fight." And then he made additional incendiary, insightful comments that day, including, quote, "For too long now, the people have feared the government. Well, in January 2021, that changes." Also, quote, "I can tell you that the crooked politicians who occupy our capital are in fear right now." And on January 6th, Shroyer was shouting to the crowd through a megaphone. He repeatedly yelled, quote, "Death to tyrants." And this was after he proclaimed that, quote, "Democrats are posing as communists, but we know what they really are. They're just tyrants." And Shroyer continued to shout to the crowd through the megaphone as he was walking from Trump's speech down to the Capitol. And he was seen on video. He was walking over downed fencing. He walked over an area closed sign. He walked by breached barricades. So Shroyer and his group, he had a few people with him. They moved through the crowd. They worked their way close to the top of a set of Capitol steps. He again used his megaphone. He was leading chants of USA and 1776 while he was on those steps. And he changed his tune somewhat when he was broadcasting to InfoWars a short time later. So he was still on the steps and he's now broadcasting live. Although he said that they were at the Capitol, they were fighting for Trump, he added, quote, "We just want to send a peaceful message to Mike Pence and the Congress members." And, quote, "You better do the right thing and not certify the fake vote for Biden." So he didn't say what would happen if they dared to do that, but, still sounded like a threat, but he was trying, you can tell, to soften it a little. Oh, peaceful message as we break down, barricades. So following the Capitol attack, Shroyer interviewed a bunch of January 6th participants on InfoWars. And he and the others, they were blaming Antifa for destroying the Capitol. And then in a later broadcast, Shroyer claimed that the Democrats ordered officers to stand down on January 6th. I mean, we all know that that's BS. We've seen the video of Nancy Pelosi and others trying to get the National Guard over there. So Shroyer was arrested on August 23rd of 2021, and he was charged with entering a restricted building or grounds, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, and parading or demonstrating in a Capitol. In June of 2023, Shroyer pleaded guilty to entering restricted grounds. So he was looking at up to 1 year in prison, 1 year of probation, and $100,000 in fines. However, the prosecutor requested a sentence of only 4 months in prison, 1 year of probation, 60 hours of community service, and $500 in restitution. And honestly, for those charges, they probably wouldn't have even asked for that. But the government noted Shroyer was previously arrested in DC in December of 2019 for also disrupting a House Judiciary Committee hearing. So he was given a deferred prosecution agreement for that. And under the terms of that agreement, Shroyer was prohibited from really even being there at the Capitol, but definitely from engaging in any kind of disorderly conduct on the Capitol grounds. So obviously he violated the terms of that agreement. And they also mentioned that he had 3 prior arrests in his sentencing memo. It's unclear if one of those 3 was the previous incident at the Capitol in 2019, but they say that 2 of the arrests resulted in conviction. And although the prosecutor concedes, these weren't serious crimes, they weren't violent offenses, but nevertheless, he does have a criminal history. So Shroyer spoke at his sentencing hearing, and he tried to point out what a good boy he's been since he broke the law. He told the court, quote, "I was fully transparent and honest, and I'm glad I was, to show that I was not part of any larger plan for illegal activity or violence that day." And then Shroyer also asked the judge to consider that he's a journalist. And Shroyer's attorney argued that basically you're violating his First Amendment rights, right? He should be allowed to say whatever he said on January 6th and before and after the Capitol attack. Well, U.S. District Judge Timothy Kelly presided over Shroyer's case, and he agreed. He said, quote, "Mr. Shroyer was not merely at the building, but he also did play a role in amping up the crowd on the steps that day." And the judge also called Shroyer out for violating his previous prosecution agreement. He said, quote, "I'm not sure that he has disavowed in general what happened on Jan 6 in any way for me to give him extra credit for remorse." And then in regard to the First Amendment specifically and the whole journalist argument, he said, quote, "Any American has the right to believe and say things against all evidence." He added, quote, "There's nothing wrong with the phrase 1776. However," the judge told Shroyer, quote, "nothing you're being prosecuted for and nothing about your conduct that day was about being a journalist." And then the judge explained that taking part in a mob, quote, "using violence and the threat of violence is not a constitutional right." And quote, "I don't think you were trying to distract the crowd or move the crowd away from the Capitol," because that was another thing he tried to say is, "Oh, I was trying to calm them down. We were trying to, get the group, the mob to leave and to calm down and, relax and take a chill pill." Yeah, not at all. So in the end, the judge sentenced Shroyer to 60 days in prison. And unfortunately, I couldn't find any other details about probation or restitution. I would assume he probably gave Shroyer the full 1 year of probation and then probably at least the standard $2,000 in restitution. And Judge Kelly told Shroyer he probably wouldn't have even received prison time given the charges against him. And his conduct on January 6th, but because of his violation of his previous deferred prosecution agreement, that necessitated time behind bars. So he did himself in by being a repeat offender. And I can imagine this isn't the last we're going to hear about Mr. Shroyer. So I will keep you all posted. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please become a donor if possible. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.